Oh boy, well, the Republican Study Committee just released their 2025 budget, and man, it is a doozy. If a budget is a moral document, then somebody's parents were asleep at the wheel. Let's check it out. Section 1 is called Ensuring Liberty Through Deregulation. It has provisions to increase oil and gas drilling, repeal the clean energy tax credits in Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, prohibit the president from declaring a national emergency based on climate change, reinstitute the Trump-era deregulatory executive orders, which require that 2 regulations be eliminated for every one that is implemented, outlaw ESG, and yes, one of their all-time favorites, eliminate the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because, why protect consumers? Section 2 is glowingly called Creating Opportunity Through Tax Reform. Friendly reminder that President Trump's tax cuts in his first term added $8 trillion to our national debt. But the RSC budget promises to make those tax cuts permanent and expand them even further. This section repeats the fact that they will get rid of those clean energy tax subsidies and also rip away all that extra funding for the IRS that they're using to quote-unquote spy on American citizens. In other words, make rich people pay their taxes. Section 3 of the Republican Study Committee's budget is called Opportunity Through Empowerment and Self-Sufficiency. They dream of limiting access to welfare programs, strengthening work requirements, adding more work requirements, cutting back on housing vouchers because we don't have a homelessness problem, and block granting supplemental security income. In Section 4, Providing for the Common Defense, they promise that under their budget we will confront America's adversaries, but not subsidize the radical woke agenda. They'll also ban the teaching of critical race theory in the U.S. military. Not a thing. And they'll defund any programs established to further the Democrats' green agenda. More talk about deregulating American energy, fully supporting U.S. military assistance to Israel, keep our national defense efficient while funding it adequately, unlike President Biden's underfunded military. Section 5 is protecting conservative values. This one's my favorite. We've got support unapologetically pro-life policies and combat the Biden administration's abortion on demand agenda by championing 38 pro-life pieces of legislation. More stuff about CRT. Oh, and good, they've made it a goal to roll back the tiny amount of gun legislation that President Biden has been able to pass in his 3 years, which, by the way, reduced gun violence by 12% in 2023. Ah, yes, and defend religious freedom, because it's really having a moment of struggle in our country, isn't it? In Section 6, personalized, read privatized, and affordable healthcare, we learn how they're going to gut the Affordable Care Act. In Section 7, we learn how they will privatize Medicare and also get rid of all of President Biden's drug cost reductions. And in Section 8, we learn about how they're going to raise the retirement age to make Social Security solvent again, which can actually be done by just raising the cap on rich people's Social Security taxes. They also want to make common sense reforms to disability insurance to promote human dignity and earned success. Oh boy. In Section 9, they have a bunch of provisions to make sure that it's super easy to cut discretionary funding in the future. And in Section 10, ending President Biden's illegal and regressive student loan bailout, also ending public student loan forgiveness, also ending Pell Grant subsidies. Oh, it's just a cornucopia of generosity. So that's the summary, and it really doesn't tell us anything that we don't know. Republicans, should they get Trump back into office, are coming for Social Security. They're coming for Medicare. There will be no more student loan forgiveness. There will be no more Affordable Care Act. There will be no more abortion or IVF or birth control. And frankly, there will be no more country that any of us want to live in. Unless you're a conservative Christian gun-toting billionaire. For the rest of us, make a plan to vote, okay?